Welcome back to the second day of lightning talks. Most everyone should have had time to get down from the ice cream now, so we'll start without anybody who's not here. We have 12 talks on the list. Don't forget, you can make an advertisement. Go down to that end. Someone at the end of the row there is holding a microphone. He'll hold it up now so you can see where he is. Grab it from him. We want to finish on time. They say the boat's going to leave without us, so we're not going to dawdle if we can. And here we go.
I'm good. Yesterday I told you about two newbies. Both of them are giving a lightning talk today, so give them a big hand of applause. They're number 1 and number 2. Mihai Pop.
So, sorry. It's not only I'm a newbie, so that means I'm the first time at the YAPC. I'm also the first time to speak today, so I couldn't be more excited. And I hope not to be so boring in the next 5 minutes talking to you about this program, which thanks to it I'm here. Yeah, a little bit of introduction. The program belongs to Enlightened Perl organization, and this talk is about my personal view of the program and not the exact data. You can Google them and go to their website and see all the data about the program over there. And it's a means for the Perl newbies to get to YAPC, basically. But I think in a larger scope, it's meant to enlarge the Perl community itself, and this is the greatest thing. So, as a newbie, what you're supposed to do to become sponsored by this program? First of all, be a newbie. What does that mean? It means you have to be in your first year of programming. You shouldn't have been ever to any YAPC conferences, and I think there are some more criteria you can find on the website, but that's pretty much it. Then you have to make a letter of intention and send to them and explain them why do you feel that it's important for you to be at the YAPC conference. Then you need to struggle to find the data. I couldn't find a better name for this, but you have to prepare everything before sending the letter of intention, because you have to make some estimation of the traveling and accommodation costs, and you have to search for that, especially when it's a different country with some letters you don't know. That might be difficult for some of you, and I just thought that, well, if you ever try to promote this Send-a-newbie to other newbies for the next YAPC, you should tell them that they should find the data, where they're gonna stay and what planes they're gonna take and so on. And after that, you wait for the EPO response, and hopefully you get in. And if you are selected, you have to make a Euro bank account. It's a question mark, because I'm not sure if that's necessary, but for me, like, I'm from Romania and we don't have Euro as a currency, it's pretty hard for them to send you the money in your own currency, so yeah, you should do that. Then you have to get all the bank details, which is really complicated. We had problems with that because they need the bank address and so on for sending, and SWIFT codes, and, well, some of you might know about that. And you should prepare a lightning talk, like, yeah, we did. So a bit about myself. My name is Mihai Pop. It's not Pop like in English, it's Pop in Romanian. And yeah, some of you said it's like Chinese. It's actually a pretty common name in Romania. I've been writing Perl for Perl code for almost a year now. I joined Cluj.pm. Cluj is my city, and also one of the cities that wanted to host the next YAPC. And currently working at the Evozone company, which is one of the sponsors of this YAPC. I think my boss is going to have a talk right after me. Yeah. Okay. So my plans for the future. I also got this in the letter of intention. I want to learn as many as I can. Probably I'll give a presentation at the next Cluj.pm meeting. I'll maybe hold one, well, other than a lightning talk at one of the next YAPCs. And I try to be more constructive in the Perl community. I don't know, build code, help with modules on cpan and so on. I don't know what I can do yet, but I'm looking forward into it. And I'm looking forward to hold YAPC in Cluj-Napoca, Delta City. I'm much of an organizer and I like this, and probably it's the best it's not the next year, because in 2015 Cluj-Napoca is going to be the European Youth Capital in the European Union, so yeah, we could host it then. And yeah, you should contribute to Send-a-newbies next year, because it's really important. I want to contribute it when I have the money. I'll sure sponsor EPO to send some more newbies to the next YAPCs, and well, I hope as many of you do that. And, well, big thanks to EPO. Thank you. I'm here because of you. Thank you for my colleagues from Evozone for supporting me, and thank you for your attention.
Hi, I'm Daxing from Vienna.pm, and for my announcement I have two requests. First, please wear your badges here. On the river cruise, I would very much like to know who I'm talking to. And second, I will host a Birds of a Feather meeting. This means just a special interest meeting. The topic is to rescue the content of the official Perl 5 wiki. The URL to the wiki is perl.org/wiki, except the E, the letter E in Perl is a 3. So again, p3rl.org/wiki. If you go there now, you will see that the access to the content is blocked. But I think it's very important to have the content back on the public web. If you would like to help me, then talk to me later, and let's think and brainstorm how to proceed. The best time is on the river cruise. Remember my face, or if you can't, I'm the guy with the blue bag and the plush camel. Yeah? Thanks.
Okay, have a good day. My name is Theo van Hoesel. I'm from the Netherlands. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the long journey. And my long journey, I have sent a quote that says, "A long journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step." And my first single step was actually trying to cramp a nice lunar landing program into this kind of calculator, where you end up with 51 program steps and you only have 50 available. From there, a couple of years later, I ended up with a company where I had to do something marvelous. I found out later on, it was at the end of the 1980s, where you had to do CAD/CAM programming, where it seems to be impossible to connect this guy to this machine. And my job was actually to program this, but more or less being a programmer, I changed it into a job I did only for 1 hour a day, and the 99.5% went totally, completely automatic. I think at that time that was impossible to do, if you read the internet. But making myself completely absolute for the company, I started my own, doing CD archiving. At that time you had to even explain what a CD recorder could be, what a CD-ROM would be for your computer. It would also be possible to make multimedia productions on them and put them on your codec photo CD player. It was also the introduction for me to make my first website. And if you ask me about this website, this was made in HTML 3.5 and JavaScript 1.2, and it still competes with HTML5, CSS3, Ajax. This does still what the people do today. From there, I did other stupid things in my life. I tried to make a puzzle game on the internet. If you know CSS3, you have those ZX rotations. And if you like to make a proper puzzle game with jigsaw puzzles, you have to rotate those things instead of only shifting them up and down. I made it possible. And people will start asking me, how did you do that? I don't know how I did it. I did it. But it didn't make much money. And my wife started complaining and said, why don't you become a math teacher? You like talk, you like explaining things. And so I started being a math teacher. That was the biggest mistake ever. Because being a math teacher in the Netherlands, because at the end of your career, you have just as much amount of money as you have as a total Perl junior programmer. So that was a bad mistake. But then there I ended more or less, unfortunately, up in a mail sorting plant like this. Doing stupid things there, sorting mail on a dead-end street for me. Being bored, I started to do something else in my spare time. I started to building houses in Second Life. And if you don't know if you know about Second Life, you make a nice house and then you have to plaster it with wallpaper. And your walls should be 4 meters high. But my houses are not 4 meters high, they're 6, 8 or whatever. And your textures start stretching. And I don't like stretching textures. I like to have neat textures. So what I did in Photoshop, I did all these textures for 4 meters high, 5 meters. And from there I thought, no, this can't be right. There I digged into my iMac, and what did I find? I find Perl. Perl would be my answer to all my problems, suddenly. I did something magic and created all those textures by myself. Next thing I did with Perl was connecting a web scraper with Magento. And Magento is a raw, nasty PHP framework. But I'm one of the few guys, I think, that even is possible to talk to the Magento backend. From there, I was more or less dragged into the Perl community, becoming part of the Amsterdam community, and a complete new story started when I was offered to connect to the Send-a-newbie program. And there, a complete new story started. I went to Berlin. That's my t-shirt all the way back. You can ask me later on. And I'm very happy I arrived here. And the last thing I'd like to say, back here, how do I do it? Here. I'm here, standing now, and just the next thing would be, where would I go? And this French for you. This says all directions, other directions, opposite directions, and the right directions. And I think I'm very glad here to be, and this is the thing Larry said yesterday. It's very inspiring. Just keep inventing the future till the world is a better place for more people, even when you screw up or get hurt, just like me. Never use that as an excuse to stop, because the future can always begin again, and that will do right here, right now, for me. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mircea Pataki and I represent Evozone. We are a software development company from Cluj-Napoca. We have about 250 developers. In Perl, the team is about 45 guys. We organize Cluj.pm. We are trying to bring YAPC to Cluj. And yeah, the announcement is, if you need any help with your interesting project, let me know or contact us through our website. One more thing, we are hiring.
Anyone else down there?
Okay, so short announcement. I'm Natasha, and thank you. If you've written a talk, just upload the slides, okay? I know that includes me too, but just upload the slides. People have been asking us, so do that. Also, I heard that Sawyer is giving a talk tomorrow, so if you want to make it, that's fine.
Call me!
So, hello. I have written a cool module, and I'm here to tell you why it is so cool and why you should use it. It's called function parameters, and it gives you the ability to write, function parameters, that is named variables, right in your subroutine definitions. There are a couple of other modules that do more or less the same thing on CPAN. In my completely biased opinion, my module is the best of all of them. But it requires Perl 5.14 or newer. That is, so if you have that, then you should probably use my module if you use any of them. And here I'm just giving you a quick overview of the available features. synopsis. So you can use function parameters, you import it, and it gives you two new keywords. One of them is fun, the other is method. I chose the keyword fun because, well, it's short, it has the same length as sub, and OCaml uses it for defining functions, and because it's fun. So the existing sub keyword is unaffected. You can still define subroutines the old way. With fun, you can write fun foo, bar, bars, and you get that as function parameters. Simple. This spot, the list in parentheses after the function name is usually reserved for function prototypes. This is the MyMap example below. You can still use prototypes, but you have to shift the prototype to the right with a colon before it, like an attribute. I don't expect you to need that very often, but it's there if you need it. Then the method keyword is the same more or less, but it also gives you a self variable. Well, self is implicitly shifted off from @_. And you can also change the name of this implicit first parameter. Here we have a class method new, class colon tells it to shift into $class, not $self. Then you can also have optional parameters. Let me just go back here for a moment. Here I imported :strict. By default, you don't get any additional checks. It just assigns @_ to your list of variables. That is, if the caller passes more arguments than your function expects, they're ignored. If they pass fewer, you get undef in your variables. With :strict, you get checks compiled in. So if, your function will throw an exception if called with the wrong number of arguments. This is another thing you don't have to write by hand. Optional parameters mean you just write an equal sign and an arbitrary Perl expression after it, and if the caller didn't pass that particular argument, you get that instead. Then there's the feature of name parameters. You put a colon before the parameter in the list, and now you can call it with named argument, like #initialization. This also means you can reorder the arguments in the call. You don't have to remember if you have like a 5 or 10 parameter function. You don't have to remember what is what. You just use the names. And of course, this can also be combined with optional parameters using the default thing feature. Another thing which you see down here is functions declared with fun are created at compile time, like normal subs. So in the call, you can omit the parentheses here. And just another trick. Here's an example where you have more complicated default arguments. You can actually refer to previous parameters from the list. They are in scope in the default arguments. Like here, real name is initialized to $nick. $nick is the previous parameter over here. That just works. And because this initialization is compiled as part of the function body, you can actually use return here. And if you don't pass an explicit value for this parameter, it will just return. But that's probably not something you should do for real. There are a few other features here, like Moose-style type checks, and you can customize the generated keywords. You can have it generate different keywords if you don't like fun. It's a lexical pragma. You can disable it in local scopes with no, and enable it again with use, and other things. But this is just a short overview. You should use it if you find any bugs. If you think you have an idea how to enhance it, how to make it better, send me a bug report, tell me about it. That's it.
Regarding the slides, I just hacked a new page into Act where you can view all talks that have slides already uploaded. And Sebastian was nice to actually deploy it. So you now can go to Act, YAPC Europe, whatever, slash YAPC2013/slides, and you have a list of all talks with slides. And so if you're an author, please go to your to the page, to your profile, and announce the URL of your slides. Thanks.
Anyone else down there?
Hi guys, I'm Alex, I'm from Astoria, and this is your typical we're hiring one. So we're a property search engine based in London. We're currently looking for 2 Perl developers, one sort of web focused to work on our new redesigned HTML5 JavaScript awesome website, and one with a more computer sciencey background to work on really interesting hard problems like geocoding, deduplication, that sort of thing. And yeah, please come grab me if you're interested, and we'll talk. Thanks.
So, good afternoon. My name is Stanislav, and I will be giving a lightning talk about user agent optimization. So LWP, everyone knows it, everyone uses it. It's pretty famous for its whip aptitude. You can just, in a couple of minutes, you can make pretty awesome crawlers with it, data scrapers, really easy to use, works just fine. It's amazing. Very popular in the Perl community. In fact, looking at MetaCpan, we have this number of modules depending on it because, well, overloading its functions and adding functionalities. But this simple testing, I don't know, it's quite visible. The most simple usage case, it will actually have to load a lot of dependencies, even in the simplest case. So it's a bit heavy and bloated. And then we have libcurl, which is famous for its manipulexity. You can do stuff with it, but it has lots of parameters, lots of settings, does almost everything, but quite hard to get there. Usually not able to do one-liners with this one. It has an awesome feature of dozens of protocols supported, like HTTP, HTTPS, Gopher, FTP, SCP, proxies over socks, out of box on most platforms. And it's very popular outside of the Perl community. It has bindings to many languages, has 2 bindings for Perl, but having many options can be also a problem when there are too many options. Because, well, there are like several hundreds of settings. You have to set URL, you have to set if you want to use cookies, you have to set, well, it's not a very Perlish way of doing stuff. So, enters LWP protocol netcurl, which you can just install with cpan-m, and you just use it as a drop-in replacement at the start of your model, and it will simply, without using any kind of black magic, because it uses the protocol backend of the LWP. It will add a possibility to use libcurl as protocol handler for every protocol supported by libcurl. So you just simply, well, LWP already supports, for instance, HTTP, but no, we just erase that and put curl as supporter of HTTP. Same for HTTPS and FTP and all the rest of stuff. And, well, we can actually do some black magic. When we set the Perl 5 opt environment variable, which will enable Perl to load this model before executing the rest of your code. In which case, you just can pick your favorite crawler or your script and test if it's still compatible with the patched LWP version. I mean LWP with libcurl on its backend. Well, but how do you know if it actually worked? well, you can pass some of libcurl options like verbose or the progress bar option, so you can actually see on the screen what's happening, if it's really the libcurl being run or the default LWP. And well, the amazing thing is, this way I can just put libcurl and run all the test suite by LWP and www mechanize, which is also awesome. And it happens to pass every test with some caveats, but it's not quite urgent stuff. So you can just pick any project of yours, plug in, add this drop-in replacement, and see what happens. At least for me, the main reason for doing that was to reduce the overhead between the calls, because well, libcurl, it supports DNS caching and persistent connections, and this made my crawlers running almost twice faster than the original LWP ones, and still keeping all the LWP interface. And so this is it. You can enter here and see the project, test, complain if it doesn't work for you, and that's it.
Hello? Yeah. Too late. Hi, the Rakudo Pro 6 team is hiring. The pay will be minimal, but the gratification will be enormous. Now, in order to make this easier on you, we're going to organize a Rakudo and NQP internals workshop in September in Frankfurt. If you're interested in attending this, please let me know and we'll see if we can get you in there. Thank you.
Okay, hello. My name is Naim. So let's begin. So I'm working like a seminar programmer. So it's therefore I work so much with command line interface as usual. Okay, so because I'm working with some network devices, I must know many different passwords. So if you're using Windows or something like this, you can use security services. That's good product, but it's proprietary, and I cannot use it on Linux. So what features I want? So first, own scripts. Cluster features like that. For example, this server doing this by one click, and others nothing. Keeps passwords and something else, like some SSH options and like this. So back terminal. Okay, that's in 1 second. I will do something live. Second. Something went wrong. Slide. Okay. Oh. Now. Yeah. Okay, that's something good because, for example, I have a bunch of servers, for example, like this. So you can do something like user and password. So you are using. You can also use keep passwords to store password most secure way. Have a hosting, have private key, something manual features. And also something advanced. There's very many options, like a forward and mail that expect. For example, when I trying to connect. I just waiting for this, and so I'm going to use my favorite session multiplexer MOOCs. That's one feature. Another is cluster. For example, one second.
Keep your mouth nearer the microphone.
I'm trying to find where I have. Okay.
Where is the password?
It was stored in hash in the configuration file. So that's good because you also have it's built on Perl, but not in not a widgets. Also have some sample Perl scripts, so it works. I'm using it every day and it's good. So also I am like a network programmer. If you want to interesting to build an open source DPI software, please ask me, and I have some idea, some level to do this. Okay, thanks.
Hi, Hi, I'm Wendy. Outside there's a table with some Perl information, and you will also find those strange wooden chips, you know. It says "to-it" on them. Many people here still don't know what to-its are. You know, to-its are to-it. It says the word to-it on it. It's round, so this is a round to-it. In English, when somebody says to you, "I'm sorry, I didn't have the time to finish the project like I promised you to do. I did not get around to it." Well, I give it to you, now you get around to it, get back to your work. And now, thank you.
Hello. I would like to present you some small little modules that maybe you would like to add to your talk. The first one is libcurl. Libcurl is a simple module that just lets you add new paths to your include array using bilcurl. So, like that example, where you see the asterisk in the middle of the path. So everything that matches that stress will be added to include. I find it very useful because normally I have a directory where I have all my CPI modules, and that way I can select. I mean, I used to work in several modules in parallel, so I can edit all the modules and not have to install them to try the change I'm doing. Right? The next module is begin. Begin allows you to inject code before your script runs. So you can do things like that, right? Setting some variable or deprecating output, whatever thing you think, and then it will run the script. I use it a lot with the debugger, so I use it to put the debugger in a state where I can run things, and all these things that you do repeatedly to get to a state where you can try things. I can put it in a begin statement, and from there I start doing the real testing I want to do. And finally, the last module is Perl RC. That you know that Perl can be compiled with this feature. Use side customers that will load a script before your script every time you invoke the Perl interpreter, but usually it's disabled. You can also put some code in a module and load it as start using the -in flag, but PRC allows you to load a script before you load another program. And so, for instance, on the first line, it will load from your home directory the .perl.rc file and run it, and then run your script. So it's also very useful to set things. I use it very much in development. So I have my development machine when I run some code to make it simulate the production, or also to set debugging options, things like that. another interesting thing is that you can put pass a directory, and I will search for Perl C file inside that directory. You can use Perl 5 opt, so you can put it in your dot profile. And you can even pass it several directories separated by columns. So it will search until it finds the file. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rick, and I work for a company called Odesk.com. Its headquarters located in Redwood City, California, and we are hiring 10 to 20 Perl programmers remote. So if you're interested, come talk to me.
So, the YAPC.travel project, and I'm not hiring. So, what is it? Well, basically, it is a website which is online and you can use it now. And on the website for this conference, you might notice that there's an accommodation link in the menu, and you can use it to book the hotel for this conference. So, the page looked like this. So, there's a venue somewhere there. And you can see lots of the hotels around it. You can look for the price, you can look for the hotels close to the venue, etc. And you can finally go to another website to book the hotel. Well, basically, I work in Astrolog.ru. They're not hiring now as well. And I'm using this site for the booking process. So please do not be confused if you use this YAPC.travel website by the logo. There's some very basic admin areas. So the website is very simple. I can edit, and this is the list for the list of bookings made during the last week for YAPC Europe 2013. So what is it for, the whole project? Well, basically it's just for earning some money, but it allows us in this year to cover some expenses for different stuff such accounting, banking, and transport, and fuel, and other not very expensive things. But it was very helpful. Well, this site was a kind of sponsor for the conference. I tried to do that in Riga, and there were about 100 people who booked through their website. But last time it was Booking.com who was doing the booking. Well, basically it's just an affiliate solution based on commission model. So, well, actually, commission of partner. But if you book on YAPC.travel, if you find a hotel there and finally book it, you will sponsor Perl event, because I'm not going to earn on this project. Well, I have to cover the hosting and things like that, but with no extra cost. You only pay for the hotel, and we will receive some money, some commission for that, which I can use for sponsoring other events if we have enough money. So it's part of a bigger project. That's why I don't want to take all the money from this project. It is very narrow targeting for the Perl people. So start using YAPC.travel as soon as possible. And I'm going to develop this project. You can subscribe for news, and there's lots of things to do. So, well, use it. Welcome.
Hi there, you might remember me from yesterday. My name's Christian, I work at Net-a-Porter. Today I'm wearing a shirt, and then I realised it's a bit broke back, but never mind. I was thinking about doing a lightning talk today about how not to prepare a conference event, and then I realised I should take heed of not doing that last minute because of what we've done last minute here. Andy mentioned on Monday that tomorrow night someone might be doing something. That's because I wasn't very helpful on Monday. Turns out I managed to get some budget out of my HR department, so basically we've got organised a bar around the corner for us all to have at least one drink on Net-a-Porter. I'll be up here tomorrow to give you the details because I haven't actually had time to put it all together. And guess what? Thank you.
Hi, I am not hiring Tom. We in Ukraine, so Ukraine have not only YAPC conference, we have many open source conferences. The best open source conference is except YAPC. It is
The second best is
OSDM, yeah. Ukrainian Conference of Free Software Developers and Users. It will be 5th of October. You can visit. It conference will be in Kiev. Also, it is most of the Linux conference. We have BSD conference. It is Kiev BSD. We have free BSD core team member here, Konstantin. Yeah, and it will be 23rd of September. Also, 23rd of September we will have 4C. It is conference on Black Sea in Odessa. It will be also 23rd of September because Software Freedom Day in this date. So you can also go to Odessa and have a nice trip on Black Sea. Also, we have a Fossil Lviv conference in Lviv. It is the best city in Ukraine. And the date in past, it has already been in this year. Thank you.
I'm not hiring. Well, I kind of am. I mentioned the London Perl workshop at the Lightning Talks yesterday, 30th of November. Normally it would be Mark Keating standing here banging on about it every day. He couldn't be here for real life reasons or some such rubbish. But I'm sure he's at home looking at the sign-up stats, pushing F5 every 30 seconds. And I suddenly thought it'd be really awesome if everyone who thought they might want to go went to the website and signed up in the next hour and give him a heart attack. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Moritz, and I offer a free service for the Perl community. I know that many of you are organized in IRC channels, and I have some, I think, nice-looking online web logs of IRC channels. So if you want your channel to be logged publicly, I can do that. Just contact me. And I want to show you a few features. So here we have the list of channels and a bit of activity graph on the right. And if you switch to a channel, you get a calendar of all the days where there was any activity, and the darkness of the background color tells you how much activity was on that day. And now for the actual logs. No, the NSA works for me. Okay, this is the actual log. You can see I have coloring of nicks consistently, and there are lots of other nice features, for example, URLs and stuff like shortcuts for GitHub issues are automatically turned into links. I do UTF-8 correctly if the client actually does UTF-8 correctly. There's some JavaScript. You can see here that there are elements that are collapsed, and those are joins and leaves, and usually you're not interested, but sometimes you are, and then you can just unfold them. And finally, there's a search which actually works. It's powered by Apache Lucy. That's the program a project that used to be Kino Search, and it works quite well. So here's a list of features. Okay, what I forgot, I have JavaScript on the today page. So if the page you're looking at is the current day, then you can reload new lines asynchronously without reloading all the page. And yes, we have nice URLs. Okay, that's basically it. Just what I used to build it. It's a Plaque PSGI application. It uses Lucy for search. It currently uses MySQL as a backend. I'm working on Postgres as another backend. It's quite far advanced. Yeah, and that's it. So if you want it logged, your IC channel logged, just contact me. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about organizing a Perl workshop for dummies, also known as From Zero to Hero or From Free to 40. I'm Tadzik from YAPC.travel, and I've been one of the organizers of the first Polish Perl workshop in May this year. And I'm here to provoke you to do the same. So one of the things I've heard over and over on every Perl conference, every Perl event I've been to is, wait, why don't you do a Perl workshop in Poland? I was like, yes, sure, all three of us probably. Because YAPC.travel is the only active Perl group in Poland so far, with about 3 members on every meeting, and sometimes it's 2, and sometimes it's worse than that. And it's usually about 8 people overall. But actually, doing the workshop, we ended up with almost 40 attendees, and almost 30 of them were from Poland. So it was quite a surprise. Yay, we are the attendees, thank you. We actually almost exceeded the venue capacity, which is sort of unexpected because one of the things we feared about having 3 Perl mongers was that nobody would come and we will have no attendees at all. And actually everyone liked the workshop, at least as far as we know. Well, we did a conference survey at the end, and the people who stayed until the end actually filled the survey, but I suppose that some people just left earlier because they didn't like it. But as far as I know, everyone loved it. And it wasn't very hard to do, really. Actually, the venue is probably the only important bit, because once you gather people together and throw them in a venue and tell them that it's a Perl event, they will sort of make it good. It's something that I noticed, its working moment. It was actually on the first day of the Perl workshop, when we met in a bar, and when I saw all the Perl people gathered, drinking beer and talking to each other, I was like, yes, it's a Perl event, we did it! And we aren't even at the venue yet. And apart from the venue itself, you don't really need much. You get ACT from the YAPC Europe, and the only thing you need to do is to just contact them and they will give you the access to the conference toolkit. It's the same thing that we use to register for this conference. And advertising is almost free, because, I mean, how many of you read Perl Weekly? Yeah, pretty much most of the people. And Perl Weekly usually advertises all Perl events that are coming. Actually, we did almost no advertising for Polish Perl Workshop. We just asked Perl Weekly to publish the info, and we got so many people. And Darkpan will rise, because, as I said, we thought we have no Perl people in Poland, and turned out that it's quite a lot of them, that actually Perl is running all the hospitals in our country. Which is scary and exciting, and I'm not sure what's more scary. And so the steps to do this is basically just email organizers and yapc.org. It's a mailing list where you say that you want to organize a conference, say hi, ask for ACT, and it will happen. You need to find a venue, which is not as hard as it may seem. Ask your company is the most important bit. Actually, what we did is I come to my boss and say, hey, if we did a Perl workshop, would you sponsor us? And he's like, no, we don't. But we can give you the venue for free. Which is basically all we need. You don't need anything else if you don't have to. So this is a good thing to do. And then you watch magic happen. And I mean, magic actually will happen. Just the things you never expect, like famous people will come. One day after my email to, I think it was maybe the same day, when I emailed the organizers list, I got an email from Brian Defoe, and he came to our workshop. We will have sponsors appearing, which we didn't expect. We had like 2 of them, but it was really great. Great sponsors. And we have Perl mongers groups forming at the event. People came, 2 of them from the same town, and they thought they were alone, but it turns out that they aren't, so they are now starting a PM group. And maybe they will do a Polish Perl workshop next year, so I don't have to. And I don't accept any excuses. I don't want to hear like things, there are no people in my area. Well, there are, you just don't know of them. Seriously. I'm not a good organizer, I'm not either, but it worked somehow. I wait for somebody else to do it. No, don't. Nobody else will do it, you have to. It's that easy, really. I could give you a list of things that worked and they didn't work and that helped, but I don't have time for this now. You should have come to Polish Perl workshop when I was having the 20-minute talk about this. So, good luck. Thank you.
Go away. So, is Perl 6 Perl? I would say you can ask, is Perl 4 Perl? I would say yes to that. It was there before we had Perl 5, but it missed many of the features that we now actually recognize as being part of Perl, which is just Perl 5. So, yet it was Perl. When Perl 4 came out, Perl 5 came out, it had several new features like lexical scoping, all this stuff that everybody now recognizes as being part of Perl. You will notice some spelling errors here. This is actually copy and pasted from the original announcement. Apparently we're not good on testing and checking stuff there. So, is Perl 5 Perl? I would say yes. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. Yet moving from Perl 4 to Perl 5, well, most of the people here never noticed this, but it had its problems. There was some incompatibility between Perl 4 and Perl 5. Well, some. Not that many, but still, I've been bitten by him in those days. So, is Perl 5 the final version of Perl? I would say no to that. I think Perl will continue to evolve, and I think the future of Perl is called Perl 6. There may be a Perl 7 at one point in time, but it will be after Perl 6 in my opinion. I think Perl 5 is now actually like Perl 4. Perl 6 is now like Perl 4. No, Perl 5 is now Perl. No. You get the idea. It's on the verge of becoming something much better. So a quote from Larry from those days. I would argue that Perl 5 is now a bit like OS 360. Another quote from Larry. I would actually argue that the Perl 6 process is not that much different. Final quote. I would say history repeats itself here. So, is Perl 6 Perl? I would say yes. So, if you really want to get into it, download Rakudo Star, play with it, have a lot of fun, and get support from the Perl 6 channel on rscfreenode.org. Take that one, not the one on rscperl.org, because that one for some reason is not actually being used. So, get involved, and there's plenty left to try. So what are the new features of Perl 6? Well, a lot of people have talked about a lot of stuff already, so I'm not going to actually do much repeating of that. So my conclusion actually is Perl is more about a mindset than a specific language. And Perl is a community of people with that mindset. And I would therefore conclude that Perl is alive. and that therefore Perl 6 is Perl.
So that is the end of the lightning talks for the second day. We still have room for tomorrow. If you do submit a talk, please check the little box that says lightning. Otherwise it comes through as a 5-minute talk. It's somewhere different in the list and I might not see it. Those that are there now I'm going to go find, but if they show up tomorrow, I might not see them. And one other reminder, as far as ACT is concerned, lightning talks are talks. So speakers, you can submit your slides and have them show up in the right place. And anyone who wants to rate a speaker, they're available. They might have a slight delay because it takes a little while for the talks as they're added to show up, but they'll be there.
Okay, so we have to be fast. The river cruise essentials. There is the bigger ship in Ukraine waiting up for us at gate 1 of the Kiev river station. It's close enough. Well, the venue is in the bottom, it's on top. It's just 3 kilometers work. Please be on time. We depart at 7 p.m. Well, we have, this is the name of the river ship. This is how it looks like. Actually it was a joke. I mean, we just ordered the buses. And actually, I have to say that it was wonderful that we could arrange buses in Kiev just in a couple of hours before we needed them. So the buses they are already there, just across the street. It's in front of the National Opera, if you know where it is. It was somewhere. Sorry. So look, on the left is the venue and on the right is the National Opera, so it's very easy just to cross the street, the underground crossing. Okay, what else? This is how it looks like. Please take your wristbands with you. And the Remy Barker, he was not able to come to the conference and he gives away his river cruise ticket, and I think we will use this ticket to invite the hostess of this venue, Yelena Nikifora, who did lots of good stuff for us, well, except wireless internet. We start at 7, we finish at 11 o'clock at the gate 1, but there will be no buses in the evening. So for tomorrow, brief information. We start as usual at 10 o'clock here in this room. And the partner program, previously it was announced, it starts at 12. No, it is from 10 o'clock until 10:30. Please gather at the entrance. So please be fast, because we don't, the YAPC.travel project will not cover the fines for incorrect parking of the buses. See you there.
Коля, возьми мою футболку.